On January 6, 2021, a mob of Donald Trump supporters converged on the U.S. Capitol building in Washington, D.C. This was 2 months after Joe Biden had defeated Trump in the 2020 U.S. election, but before Biden's inauguration as president. Some who gathered did so with the explicit goal of protesting the election results, or of attempting to disrupt the official tally of electoral votes and jettison Biden on a technicality. Trump, still the president, delivered a speech to his supporters at the National Mall, encouraging them to walk to the Capitol and never to concede. At that point, a group, including a mix of white nationalists like the Proud Boys, conspiracy theorists like QAnon, and a diverse array of excited fans of Trump simply along for the fun, pushed their way into the Capitol building, which was defended by security and police. Some members of the mob posed a threat to members of Congress on sight. Some seemed to want to vandalize the offices of their political enemies, and others seemed more interested to record their activities for a social media audience. That day, in addition to numerous injuries, one rioter was fatally shot by a Capitol police officer upon climbing through a shattered window, and 3 other rioters died from drug overdoses or from natural causes. It is difficult to anticipate how this quite recent event will be remembered in American history, especially given the variety of interpretations already presented. Mainstream journalists and politicians have variously dubbed this event a protest, an attempted coup, a riot, an insurrection, even an act of terrorism. The right-wing media have swung from disavowing the rioters to proclaiming January 6th a false flag, to defending the mob's actions as peaceful and a legitimate protest. On the other side of the spectrum, some left-wing media figures have described January 6th as funny, even as great television. I think actually all of these interpretations get something right. On a serious side, people died. Some rioters did threaten congresspeople with violence, and had Trump marched with his supporters to the Capitol building, which he did not do, it could have engendered a constitutional crisis. At the same time, the mob was disorganized, lacked common goals, and had no plausible legal basis to stand on. Moreover, it's hard to argue that some of the actions of the most photographed characters among the riot were darkly comedic, even silly. To over-dramatize the damage to government property risks over-sacralizing the institutions of the state. We might ask, what does it mean about us? And what are we assuming, rightly or wrongly, if we lament the profanation of the seat of government of the United States? I want to offer a few other interpretations of this event's significance. First, to the extent January 6th constituted an attempted coup, it is arguable that this is not the first, but the second time such an attempt has been made in the United States in recent memory. We should recall that Republican operatives organized protests of vote recounts in Florida after the 2000 presidential election, protests which were coordinated with deadlines set by Republican-controlled courts. The result was that George W. Bush defeated Al Gore despite the actual votes, in what was effectively a successful judicial coup. Second, January 6th evidences a reorganization of the Republican Party. Internal divisions between, on the one hand, neoconservative segments in the Tea Party, and on the other hand, diehard Trump fans, were expressed in the desire of some rioters to arrest and possibly even hang Mike Pence, a Tea Party caucus member and Trump's first vice president, because he had refused to support efforts to invalidate Biden's electoral victory. Third, January 6th represents an attempt, though a violent and disorganized one, at political action in the United States other than voting. We might ask what January 6th forecasts for democratic possibilities, either desirable or undesirable ones, beyond the ballot box. Fourth, I think that the riot epitomized and in part contributed to the reincorporation of the Trumpist right and the socialist left into the mainstream binary of the Republican versus Democratic Party. On January 6th, this populist political energy was permitted to erupt outside of the U.S.'s electoral bureaucracy, not unlike orgiastic festival periods that anthropologists and scholars of religious studies have documented among various religious and cultural groups. After the event, the populist extremes affiliated with both parties were digested, at least for a time. The populist right was stymied and the socialist left shied from action in the wake of the riot's crudeness. However, this observation, alongside everything else about January 6th, requires reassessment in light of Trump's victory in 2024. My name is Aaron James Goldman. I'm at the Center for Theology and Religious Studies at Lund University. Thank you for listening.